Welcome back to the Nerdrotic Podcast. My name is Gary Buechler. I'm live in San Francisco, California. I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and we are recapping Preacher, Season 2, Episode 8, Holes. And I am with my best buddy down in San Diego, California, Dennis Bithoulkas. What is up, man?
Nothing much, man. I'm just, we're getting all the technical difficulties ironed out here with our new logo.
You like that? That was pretty, huh?
Yeah, it was nice.
That worked. You know, that was the first time we actually tried that, and it went off without a hitch.
Yes. It wasn't like we tried it, 3 or 4 or 8 times 15.
Yeah, it's not like this is not the third time we're restarting this broadcast because dogs were barking or wives were getting home or something like that. But y'all don't want to hear about that. You want to hear about what I think is the best episode of the season, Holes. It had just, for one, it brought everybody, all the characters back. It had a lot of layers. It brought the drama. I don't know. What do you think, Dennis?
I liked it. It was good. It wasn't the best episode of the season for me, but, it was good. And everyone was in their own little hole, so to speak, hence the title.
Yeah, it actually, you had to bring that up to me. I'm like, like this, what did I message you? I'm like, this is a dark episode, man. And you're like, that's why it's called Holes. I'm like, oh yeah. So, we see all our characters converging on each other. Now, let's start out with Eugene, okay? Because we haven't seen Eugene in a while. And we start out the episode with a little Cape Fear action going on, which was awesome with the dramatic music. And it's got, what has he got? Tracy's name? Tracy's
name, yeah, tattooed across his back in script. That prison script, basically.
Yeah. So I guess you have flesh in hell. I guess you would have to have flesh to get punished. But the tattooing in hell was something I wouldn't have thought of. But that's cool. Eugene looks definitely yoked.
Yeah, he does.
And we never, he beat the crap out of Hitler, but Hitler looks fine. So I don't know, maybe you heal in hell. Maybe this has been a long time. And they finally figured out that somebody is there who doesn't belong there, and they base it on energy. And I guess everybody's little projection machine is based on their own internal energy. So I guess they're rationed in hell. They did say they had budget cuts. They had rolling blackouts.
Yeah.
So hell is in California. Okay. Not surprised at all, to be honest with you. Not surprised at all. And Eugene, what was the candy bar? It was a Zagnut? Zagnut. And it was the only one there. Are they that bad? I've never had one.
Zagnuts are pretty awful. And I thought it was funny. And also they don't make them anymore because they're that awful. I mean, I remember them in the 70s as a kid. Yes, I'm dating myself on that one, but and those things I think were always dusty, like a box of them sitting there at whatever convenience store you went to. They were always dusty because no one ever ate those damn things.
I vaguely remember them, and I'm older than you, so but what was in it? Was it like a black licorice candy or something like that? I mean,
no, it was nuts, chocolate, but it was just really nasty. The combination of it, I honestly cannot remember it.
I think I remember getting those in like Halloween candy, like back in the day. Yeah.
And throwing them back at whoever, gave them.
And when the prison guard comes in and she writes the out of order note and they're shooting hoops with a flat basketball. It's just the little touches they're putting in on this is fantastic, dude. It's so great.
Favorite, though, was the duct tape for toilet paper.
Yeah, I know. I hope so. I hope nobody has to take a shit.
Because they ran out of duct tape.
Because they taped the caveman to the TV that's showing fire that he can't take his eyes off, which is horrible. I mean, just everything about that scene was fucking awesome. Just brilliance. Then we got more of. Then we shoot to 1946, and we get to see Cassidy, I guess, pre-vampire. Or was he a vampire?
He was a vampire at this point, yeah.
Okay. So vampires
100 and some odd years old.
Okay. That's right. So in the Preacher world, vampires they bleed, their semen works, everything works. They're just vampires. Okay. Gotcha. You know, yeah, like at least they don't glow. Okay, as long
Yeah.
as they don't glow, you know, we're good.
Sparkle.
Or sparkle, yeah, whatever. Yeah, that thing that ruined Comic-Con, you know. uh,
Uh,
it was a cute little scene. He sang little Dennis a song, and you know, Cassidy's troubled. We got Cassidy troubled, you know, with his son dying, and you know, toiling around in his head, like not wanting him to be a vampire. And honestly, if Cassidy makes him a vampire, it's a selfish act. But the scenes they had with him and his son, you know, puking blood and stuff. I've actually gone through that with my dad, so it was kind of hard to watch for me, man. I'll be honest with you. I don't mean to bring this down too much. I know we're here to have fun, but that was rough. Okay. So maybe that's, I mean, a weird way. That's why I like it. Just reminded me of those final days with Pops, which were good and bad, you know, which you know, but it was hard to watch, but it was really good. Like this show has made a turn for me anyway, from being just gaggy, tongue in cheek, to where they can. I hope they don't do this all the time. Don't get me wrong, but I do like it brought once in a while, because it adds another dimension to the show, to make it, for one, last longer. Because you know, you want to have an attachment to characters. You want to feel like, you know, they're just not all cartoon characters, you know. And Ash versus Evil Dead does this in a way too.
yes. Yeah.
In a very subtle way. These shows are a lot alike. Ash being superior, but I mean, they are a lot alike. And that's why we did a podcast. We just thought, you know, if they do this show right, it's going to be in our wheelhouse, man.
Yep.
So yeah, the Cassidy scenes are really good. They've already made him way more human, or human. They've already brought more levels to him than they have in the comic. Which you know, which is cool. I love the Cassidy comic. What was that?
Yeah, a couple things with Cassidy. He did have another good line in this one with the you know, the preacher, and you know, he asked, you know, the preacher, he goes, "Oh, you know, remember I asked you if you can, you know, help me with something? You asked me if you could help me with Dennis." He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "You want me to pray for him?" He goes, "No, Christ, no."
Christ, no.
That was a good one. And then also, was that his brother that he called up on the phone? That was his brother that he calls up on the phone. Okay. That's what I thought, because he was talking about Seamus, his brother.
Yep.
To Tulip, and then he's talking to Seamus on the phone. It's an overseas call, the way he, you know, the dial tone.
Yep.
So, you know, Seamus is in Europe or elsewhere in the world. And Seamus is pissed at him, obviously.
Oh yeah, totally, man. And he's like, just don't, you know, and that's where you know, we're dealing with Cassidy now. So that's where the episode ends, with Cassidy looking really intense at Dennis, and Dennis is like, you know, hanging on the edge. Not our Dennis, French Dennis.
Yes, French Dennis.
You know, there was that great scene where Cassidy talked into the phone and had a translator and asked him what he wanted. And, you know, a little bit later, he's screaming in the phone. He's all, "What do you want?" And the phone's translating, bite me," which has double meaning. You know, It's like, "Bite me, motherfucker." You know, that was so well done. You know, yeah, that was my favorite part in it. Actually, Jesse was the weakest part of this, but the tone of this episode was really even with all three characters, with Tulip, with Jesse, and Cassidy. You had this really, like, they're trapped in a nightmare feel, like surreal feel, like they're, you know what, they're in their own hell, they're in their own cycle right now. And you know, you almost wonder if this is forced on them by something, you know, like their misadventures. You almost think that there's something behind all this, you know, and stalling them. So Jesse gets an idea from the shows to take his DVD and get it blown up by the Dork Docs. Is it the Dork Docs?
It is the the Dork Docs.
The Dork Docs.
Yeah, I forget where he said the shack. What is it?
It's like a Best Buy.
Yeah.
And at first, you know, they laugh at him, and he gets the gun thing blown up, and they thought he, you know, they thought they were trying to cover up for him, so they erased the serial number on the gun.
Oh my God!
Right there, I wanted to. This is live podcasting, everybody. This is what makes us unique. Okay, we don't do any editing. This is off the cuff. We do like little notes or anything, but you know, It's just two guys talking. That's what we are. And a dog barking. It's two guys talking and a dog barking. It's all good. So the question I had, Dennis, was when, and we'll get further into this, but when he goes and gets the DVD analyzed and they erased the serial number, the only thing is, like, couldn't he have used the voice to make them remember what that serial number was?
No, they didn't erase the serial number. The serial number on the gun was scratched off.
Oh, it was scratched off. I
Yeah,
thought
you could
they
see
I
it was-
thought they erased it.
No. The serial number was scratched off on the gun, so they couldn't. There was no serial number to get.
Okay, so that's why they were like, "Oh, look, and nothing's there." Okay, I thought they did it for him, doing him a favor. So they were just presenting the fact that, oh, there's no serial number on it, so you're good, Padre.
Yeah.
Gotcha, following you. So they see a reflection in
The clipboard.
the clipboard. And it turns out to be a pot of coffee, but I'm pretty sure, well, especially with what we find out what was on there, but I figured it was the Grail. And then we got confirmation when they went to, Jesse gave up and he's disheartened, and it looks like he's about to give up his hunt for God. And it said property of the Grail or something on the
Grail Industries, yeah.
Grail Industries, yeah, which, way to be subtle.
And also behind Jesse the entire time is commercials playing about Grail Industries.
Yep.
So he's got his back turned to it. So everything, he's praying to God about, give me a sign, all this stuff, and all this shit's going on behind him. And it's on the DVD, where it came from. And he's just not looking.
And that's the endearing thing about Jesse. Jesse is not the sharpest tool in the shed. That's why we love Jesse, because he's just a guy. He's just a dude. And they really do kind of capture, to me anyway, the Jesse from the comic book. Who's just kind of a dude. He's a bruiser who decided to become a preacher out of some bad decision making. But then we got Tulip, who's still tripping on the bullet holes, and she's
well, she's having nightmares still.
And she's still having the nightmare. She's got, I guess, hell PTSD going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And she's trying to deal with it. She wants to go out and do things at 2 a.m. But that's kind of Tulip too,
Yeah.
And she's wanting to plug up the holes in the walls, and she goes through all the rooms, and she gets to the last room, and there is Featherstone, who I don't think they've named yet, but and I also think that was did I not write his? I'm forgetting his damn name now. Oh, it starts with a B. The other guy she's with, Featherstone.
They haven't named him, actually.
Oh, he's got a name. He's got a name. It was Featherstone, and
it's actually I'm looking at the cast list right now, and Julianne Emery, who you're calling Featherstone, they don't have a name for her at all. It's just a blank space.
Yeah, it's Featherstone, and it's God, I forgot the guy's name from the comic book. But those two guys are they're assistants to Hairstar. And then we're waiting for Hairstar. I was kind of hoping we'd see him this episode, but we didn't. But that's cool. Last episode was so funny. But it looks like we're going to be getting a meeting. So Tulip meets Featherstone, who makes a very quick costume change because she is watching everything they're doing. There's cameras all over the apartment. So I don't know if it's the Grail doing this stuff to them, or God, or it happens to be a bad series of events that's happening to Tulip and Cassidy. And, I think it's a mixture of all three, probably.
Probably
and
a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was the coolest thing in this episode was just the tone and feel of it. You feel like it felt simmering. You know what I mean? Like the tension was there, and it also just the way it was shot and everything. I love that kind of I love that kind of episode. It was kind of Gilliam in a sense.
F.J. Hoover was the name of the guy who was with her.
Hoover. Okay, Hoover. Why did I think it was a B? Oh, probably because I was looking at my bad notes. So,
played by Malcolm Barrett, by the way, who is in the great show Timeless, who I keep pushing. So
the show that's got one more season.
He came back. Hey, you know what? It went back in time and got itself uncanceled. So
it did, and we'll see if it lasts another season.
Yeah.
Maybe you pushing it will help it. So. By the way, which guy was in Timeless?
Malcolm Barrett, the guy who played F.J. Hoover.
Okay.
Hoover. He's the pilot. Yeah, he plays Rufus, the pilot. on the show.
Well, obviously he's going to need some other work because I don't think Timeless is going to last, buddy. Sorry, man.
It probably won't, but you know what? It's a good ride while it lasts.
That's good. All right, so we got Dennis dying. We got Cassidy, and yeah. So one of the better scenes was sorry, I lost track of my notes there. That's great. Was between Cassidy and Tulip in the kitchen, and you hear Cassidy doing the vampire's lament, which is like you watch everybody die and da 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 da. I think the twist on this though is him having a son, and I'm sure it's been done in another story because every vampire story has been told 100 times. But it was a good twist, and you know, it's not like a bunch of people are begging to be vampires in the show. So he even brings it up to Tulip. He's all, "Would you want to be like me? You know, like a vampire?" And she's like, "The not dying thing." Then he goes into his little lament and she goes, "Yep, it sucks. Don't want to be a vampire."
Did she really say that though? I think she just kind of said, you know, you can't be hurt. She goes, and you lost your fingers, and all you do is drink one of these things, pointing to one of the bags of blood that he has, and you grew them right back again.
Yeah, but then he went into his lament, and then she goes, "Yep, that sucks." That was great. And it also is a little bit, I'm just going to go into a little bit of spoiler teaser territory here, is a definite foreshadowing of something. I will tell you that right now, which is a big event in the comic. If we ever get to Angelville, because they are crawling to Angel. At this point, we're not going to get there. I mean, we'll get there probably at the very end of the season. That'll probably be the last shot.
Since episode 8, and you know, we've got what episode 13, is that right?
Yep.
So we got 5 more episodes.
Yeah. So God, it's in one place it said 11, and another place it said 13. It was very ambiguous. But when they have initially got the season 2 green light, it was for 13 episodes.
Yeah.
Don't know how the ratings are doing though. I think they're doing okay, but not great. But I think this is a show where they got to get all the data in, because just by judging by our podcast and judging by other podcasts, it kind of looks like a lot of people watch this later in the week.
Yeah.
Or just, you know, when they have time. It's not like a must see on Monday night. So, you know, Eugene gets put into the hole, and this was one of the better scenes in there too. So, if you do something nice in hell, you get put into the hole. So, you know, Hitler trips Eugene, and he helps somebody up, and he gets put into the hole.
Trips a nun. He trips
a nun. Yeah, Hitler trips a nun, and then Eugene lifts the nun up, and he gets put into the hole. And I don't know, man. What'd you think of that scene?
Well, the prison guard, the warden, said, you know, this is an augmenter, and you know, when she, you know, what's down there is what he asked, and she goes, it's an augmentation tool, I think is what she said. And so when she threw him in there, it was the same kind of thing, and it's like, oh, it's like this again, you know, it's going back and reliving his worst hell, but he can change it now. And then it gets twisted even further, so it becomes even like worse than his hell, because it's his worst fears of things building on top of each other, one on top of the other, until he, of course, blows his own head off again. So,
well, yeah. And he gets down there, and again, when we recap an episode, we've assumed I don't know why you'd want to watch this podcast before you watch an episode. I highly recommend you go back and watch it, and then, because we analyze it, we spoil the hell out of it. So in this dream sequence, we get to the point where he kisses Tracy, and she's like, "You like me?" And it, you know, and all of a sudden they start singing "Closing Time," which was terrible. I was almost going to start the podcast with me singing this, and I'm just glad I didn't. And so was everybody else. And yeah, they break into a song a little bit, and then they make out again. And then she's like, "But I promised myself to somebody else. I wish you would have told me sooner. I promised myself to God." And God's flushing the toilet in the bathroom, and it turns out it's Jesse. And Jesse sits out on the bed, and they start making out, and she's taking his belt off, and like Eugene is just like, no, because, like, you know, the preacher sent him to hell, so he's got a little bit of a resentment. Now he's making out with the one girl that he liked, who she did kill herself, and he did kind of make the situation worse by just being there. This is where just get out of the friend zone. If you're in the friend zone, ladies and gentlemen, it always ends up with somebody blowing their head off and getting the blame for it. So stay out of that friend zone, just move on.
So you think it's a little foreshadowing of the comic where and I'm going to go into spoiler territory here for the comic. Arseface does become a protagonist in Preacher, and do you think maybe they're setting up conditioning Eugene to kill the Preacher, to try and kill the Preacher?
Yes, definitely. I mean, Eugene is like the one good person in this. Okay,
yeah.
I mean, and he turns in the comic. He's a loser, but he's not evil. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he turns kind of good in the comics. And yeah, I think they're definitely going that way. I'm currently rereading the comics, and it was so incredible, especially when you read that first issue, when you're like, wow, the whole first season was the first issue. Pretty much a little bit of the second issue too, but I mean, that was it, and they just stretched it out so they could do a million things, and honestly, the show's, other than the characters acting, like story-wise, nothing. It's not paced like it. It's nothing like it. So it's actually a good thing to go and pick up and read. I am rereading it and enjoying the hell out of it. As a matter of fact, we're going to start doing comic reviews on our website, and that is going to be the first thing I review is Preacher 1 through 4. So, but I digress. Yeah, I think they're definitely going to go that way. It's just, I think my one little complaint is they've they've been in hell too long. They've spread it out way too much, man. Like, he got sent to hell in the middle of last season. He should have been out by now. Yeah. I mean, and it looks like they're going to be waiting until the end of the season. And it looks like Hitler, who's just been the nicest guy,
Well, he said, I mean,
I hope that phrase does not get taken out of context, by the
way. We got a little background on what Hitler has been doing since he's been in hell. When he says, the first thing that I do, my first job when I got here, they put me as a custodian because they thought I was going to do great things down here. And he goes, I saw behind the curtain and saw what these people are really like and what they're doing, and it's not what it seems, is what Hitler was telling him. So,
it's probably not as evil. It's probably more corporate. Who knows? Maybe Hitler wants to take over. I don't know. This is all stuff, we don't know. And
he seems like he's just kind of kicking back and just
kind of waiting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be Hitler. Okay, I mean, like, this is freaking Hitler we're talking about. Okay, so he's not this sweet guy, but he's being played perfectly, dude. Well,
it's not his first rodeo as Hitler. The guy.
No, it's not. It is not. He is well versed. You don't want to get typecast as Hitler, do you?
No, you really don't.
Well, actually, you would get roles till the end of time. So
Yeah, but it's the same thing over and over and over again.
I know, it's a 999. Even though that was,
it always ends the same way.
It does always end the same way, except in Preacher.
Except in Preacher, this is true.
When you're helping an ass-faced boy get out of prison, get out of hell, which is prison. There was a really accurate prison thing in the beginning where, with the whole Eugene having to, because he's smart enough to know that if they know he's not supposed to be there, they're not going to just let him go. They're going to be fucking with him worse. So he's playing it really safe by acting like he's supposed to be there. So, kicking Hitler's ass when he really doesn't want to. That is actually a really accurate portrayal of how you survive in there. You do well. I mean, some more than others will do things that they don't need to do to survive in there, but you do need to kind of play a part that might be against your freaking morals, and that's how people come out of there unscathed and not return. Not many. The percentages of people who get out and stay out is very small, but that's how you do it. What
else was a very accurate portrayal was covering up bullet holes with spackle. I've actually done that before.
You've had to do that before.
Don't ask why.
I'm asking why. Don't bring it up and not ask why. I mean, like, well,
I'm not at liberty to say, because
you're not at
otherwise,
liberty to say.
no, no. There was an accidental discharge. It wasn't from me. It was from somebody else, a friend of mine's house, and there was a bullet hole in the wall. And yes, I helped cover up a bullet hole in the wall.
All
yes.
right.
From a 9mm.
And a body in the fridge. But no, we're talking about bullet holes in the wall right now. So
yes. And tobacco works wonders.
It sure does. It sure does. And so does duct tape and acid and a big bag. Sorry, just
pig farm. That's all I'm gonna say. Pig farm.
Yep. Pig. Oh, yeah, that's gross. You didn't have to take it there, man. So yeah, really good episode. I love how it ended. You know, I do. Okay, we'll ask you. I'll ask you the question first. Do you think Cassidy's going to turn Dennis?
Yes.
I think so too. Cassidy always makes the wrong fucking decision.
Yep. But then he's gonna have to deal with the consequences, because that's Cassidy.
Oh yeah, to a T. You know, there's so many things converging now. We got the hair star. Oh man, it's almost like they've taken a little bit too much time coming up to this. But I'm really looking forward to hair star. Saint of Killers coming back. Sakosha brought up again. Like, there is some crazy shit down the road. But that's why it's better than the slower episodes they had with Victor. I love this episode. I love the pacing of it. I love the surrealism of it. Everything about it was, to me, was cool. My kind of episode. So I was very happy with it. Maybe I'll change my mind on it later when we see more of the Gonzo stuff. And we haven't as much this season.
No.
After a crazy beginning, it's been very toned down on the gore and stuff.
The first 2 episodes were very, very crazy, and then just kind of went down. And maybe that was what the whole thing was. They're just kind of ramping us up to bring us to the slow parts.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mixtape. You know, you start up strong, then you stay steady, raise it to a crescendo, and then you go out with your power ballad. So, you know, that's a good mixtape there. Yeah. Dennis.
You know who else is in a hole, though, as well?
Who?
This whole thing.
Oh, well, yeah, Saint of Killers.
Saint of Killers. There we go.
He's in a swamp.
Yeah.
That's a hole with water in it, and leaves and shit. But yeah. So as you can see, we're not live on YouTube. Our little live restriction will end October 8th. It was all over a preacher live broadcast where we really we love to do the live streaming. I don't know. I just like the off the cuff stuff. I don't like the edited stuff. This is 2 people talking, and I like the live feel of it. So we're doing it on another channel. I'm going to have to upload it onto YouTube, but we did a live stream. It lasted, what, 3 seconds? Maybe 4 seconds. We were having technical difficulties with the mic. I shut it down, turned it back on, and lo and behold, we had a strike. What I've found out in the weeks since is we got caught up in this new YouTube algorithm crap that's going on right now, where it's demonetizing things and people are getting flagged and striked when they didn't do anything. YouTube is not talking about it to anybody, and I'm talking the big guys out there, the guys with 1 million subscribers and stuff like that. They're starting to bring it up. Mundane Matt has been mostly vocal about it. I guess he had 101,000 views yesterday and got $15 in ad revenue. So we knew they were rolling out. It's called Adpocalypse. If you're not like a big time YouTuber, some bullshit happened and YouTube overreacted, and some people pulled some ads, and they're trying to have a new algorithm to try to work out hate speech, whatever the fuck that is. I mean, aside from the obvious stuff, I mean, how do you get to the unobvious stuff? That's the question I have. Of course, you don't want to have, racists and bigots online. That's fine. But like, how do you get the stuff who maybe a guy's joking or something like that, and you feel like, well, I don't know how they're going to have to deal with it. I don't envy them right now, but we got caught up in it, and I tried to fight the machine, and I got the crickets for responses. So that's cool. That's fine. We'll just upload the videos. Just wanted to do a quick little explanation what the heck was going on. You know what? I don't even blame YouTube. I mean, they have to react to these kind of things. It's a big damn company, and these algorithms or whatever, they cannot be easy. So, and I really appreciate the fact that they allow us to do this hobby. And it's a lot of fun. That's why we do it.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it for what, almost 4 years now.
Almost 4 years consistently. I mean, we're way more consistent than we used to be, but we used to put out like a couple podcasts a month, and now we're doing like 10. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. And the subscribers we have, we really appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching and commenting.
And keep commenting.
Please keep commenting. I will respond to your comments. I've been very crappy about that, and I meant to read some tonight, but my phone is dead, so we will do it next week. And a reminder that if you do comment, you're going to go into the pool for a signed Steve Dillon Preacher #1 comic book. And if you are the winner, when it's announced, please, you got to email me on this channel. We had some winners from American Gods who never contacted me, so we have some leftover prizes that I might throw in, but I'm still waiting to hear from some people. So that being said, Dennis, you got any last words on this episode?
I do. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, America.
May the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.